The focus falls on high-ranking health officials as police probe the deaths of 94 psychiatric patients. The public protector contemplates blocking the president's attempt to overturn the state of capture report. Hello and welcome to it. You're watching eNews Direct. I'm Duduzile Ramela.
And I'm Sandy Lekangwase. Good evening.
To comment on any of our stories, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNews Direct.
And tonight our hashtags are Life is Dimeni and Public Protector.
Police are investigating several cases of murder and negligence. Following the health ombudsman's shocking findings, Professor Malihapuru Makhoba says at least 94 mentally ill patients died after being transferred from Life Esidimeni centers. Former Gauteng Health MEC Qadani Mahlangu is one of 12 health officials implicated in his report. 2 high-ranking officials in her department have also been found guilty of misconduct and tampering with evidence. There's also a strong case against several NGOs found violating the National Health Act. A law expert believes that justice can be found in the courts. However, he warns that a murder charge is difficult to prove.
You can certainly charge them for negligence. The law would want to know, did you know? And with that knowledge, intentionally proceeded to do what you have done. Yes. If the answer is in the negative, and I certainly want to believe it is in the negative, then you can't fault them. But if you want to say they were negligent, right, you have a stronger case. Look, there are many people who are implicated in this. Yes. There will be disciplinary cases taken, internal ones, and then you seek pursue criminal cases. Yes, I think I only see Madam Mahlangu as well as the provincial government, perhaps even the national minister, all right, could also be drawn into this one.
Well, the health minister wants to prevent frail care patients in the Eastern Cape from suffering a similar fate. Aaron Motsoaledi wants the province's social development MEC to stop plans to move the patients from Life Healthcare Esidimeni centers to NGOs. Aaron Motsoaledi wants to halt the transfer of around 240 people. However, the department says it's going ahead. It says it won't be swayed by the ombudsman's damning report because its situation is different.
This Frail Care Centre is filled with people who are not necessarily old. The youngest patient here is 22 years old, and others are either in a coma, severely handicapped, or terminally ill. Some of the patients have been here for over 25 years.
My sister Glynis has been at Algoa Frail Care Centre for the past 8 years. She's born handicapped. She has a mental age of a 4-year-old. She is unable to look after herself.
He shares a room with a guy who's been here for good few years. He was shot in the back during the Northern Areas uprising in the 1990-1991. And he's paralyzed. He's been here since then.
There are only 2 state-funded frail care centres in Port Elizabeth, housing 240 patients. The contract between government and Esidimeni lapsed in December. The government was paying 16,000 rand to house them per month. They now want to reduce that figure to 4,000 rand per person. The families are taking the government to court.
We decided as parents we're going to fight this. And then we got legal aid to assist us, and then we had an interdict in the High Court against the movement, against this transfer of patients from Algoa Frail Care Centre and Lorraine to the NGOs.
I think Robin was saying, they talk about taking people to NGOs, but we're not aware of any NGOs other than these 2 frail care centres, perhaps one more, who provide this service, and certainly not at this level of service. For all that's being said about Life Esidimeni, I think they're doing a pretty great job.
The Minister of Health is adamant the transfer of patients should be halted. But the Eastern Cape Social Development Department says it's going ahead with its controversial plan as it's not mandated to take care of sick people. Sandy McCowan, Port Elizabeth.
Let's shift focus on to other news now. The public protector is still deciding if she'll get involved in the president's bid to overturn the state of capture report. Busisiwe Mkhwebane has spoken about a number of challenges that she faces. Mkhwebane says she's hurt by accusations that she's a spy, a Gupta puppet and the president's protector. She says that these claims are untrue, insisting she has no agenda.
Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane admits that her first 100 days in office have been rocky. But she maintains this is largely because of what she says are half-truths being spread about her.
Allegation that I'm a Gupta puppet, I'm a president's protector, I'm a spy. Those are not kind things, or that I hate Advocate Thuli Madonsela. I mean, those are not the truth.
Mkhwebane says she's now contemplating legal action against the DA over the opposition party's persistent spy claims against her.
That's why I'm saying people did not consider many things.
She's also considering what approach her office should take on President Jacob Zuma's bid to overturn Madonsela's state of capture report. Zuma argues Madonsela did not have the constitutional power to order Chief Justice Mogoeng to appoint a judge to head an inquiry into state capture allegations.
And respect the Constitution.
He claims only he has this power. Mkhwebane says she needs legal advice on that argument.
So we would want to make sure that when we oppose this matter, it's a winnable case, and we know that it will be enforceable.
Mkhwebane is also finalizing another Madonsela investigation into alleged apartheid-era looting by Bancorp, which later became ABSA. A provisional report on that investigation has already been leaked, a development that Mkhwebane says almost jeopardized the probe.
That is not a final report, and it might change drastically. Remember, we've given the implicated parties an opportunity to respond.
She's praised Madonsela's work on the ABSA investigation, saying she's not worried by any possible questions she may face about if she changed the report. Karen Morn, Johannesburg.
The SABC says appointments and staffing issues are an internal matter and not in the public interest. The Western Cape High Court heard a request for leave to appeal its judgment that the appointment of Hlaudi Motsweneng is invalid and unlawful. Judgment in the matter was reserved.
Who is instructing the SABC's appeal? This is the Democratic Alliance's big question. It says the legal bills must be footed by the acting group CEO, James Aguma.
It is very curious that in the absence of a functioning board, the SABC's acting general CEO was in a position to take a decision to appeal this judgment.
Legal counsel for the SABC argues that the case opens the floodgates for interference with labour issues.
This case sets a very important precedent. The judgment in this case sets a very important precedent because it would allow in future outsiders to interfere with the employment policies of any state department or any organ of state.
Tatoy says that the SABC is not subject to public power.
The appointment of Motsweneng did not constitute the exercise of public power. It constituted an internal arrangement.
But the DA maintains there are no grounds for appeal.
The SABC is a public institution. It uses public money. Decisions of this nature, such as the appointment of executive directors and members of the executive committee, must be an exercise of public power.
The SABC confirmed in court that Motsweneng has not been at their offices since last year. RT Narsi, Cape Town.
It's World Wetlands Day, and pupils in Pietermaritzburg are being taught how to preserve this valuable resource. Wetlands could provide much-needed job opportunities. Environmental groups and government have joined forces to host an educational day in KwaZulu-Natal's Edendale.
It's hoped these young minds will make a difference in saving South Africa's wetlands.
I learned about saving water and that we mustn't plant plants near the waterlands that are not supposed to be there.
We can try our best to save wetlands and have the next generation of water and next.
They're among 300 school pupils being taught about the importance of biodiversity, as well as the benefits of sustaining wetlands. With over 40 in the Greater Edendale area, this is the only healthy one. Many of these bodies of water face erosion. Some are polluted with waste that eventually filters into streams.
We have 12 post-matrics youth, some with degrees, whom are undergoing a training in a form of a learnership, strictly to make them understand the importance of wetlands and rivers. So it says it provides education, it provides jobs.
Environmental Affairs estimates that over 50% of South Africa's wetlands are degraded or lost, and that this could exacerbate the effect of the drought on KZN's water security.
Wetlands play a critical role in stream flow regulation, and what that means is that in summer, when it rains, our rivers run because of rainfall that we are receiving. But while rivers are being sustained by rainfall, the wetlands are acting like sponges, and they keep the water in them for when the rivers are starting to run low.
Officials say they're working to identify wetlands for rehabilitation. Judith Subban, Pietermaritzburg.
Further afield, 51 Islamic State militants have been killed in a Turkish airstrike north of Syria's Aleppo. Airstrikes are being combined with attacks by ground forces in a campaign to push back the fighters. 85 militant strongholds were hit in the air raid. Rescue workers in China are searching for survivors after 3 buildings collapsed. The structures were about 5 stories tall. It's suspected that the buildings were relatively full at the time of the collapse. The Klassen inquiry report has been handed over to MPs. The board was tasked with investigating the suspended National Police Commissioner's fitness to hold office. The Portfolio Committee on Police has agreed to make the report public. The move has confirmed reports that the inquiry found that Ria Pierre should be dismissed. The probe found that she should have foreseen the consequences of deciding to disarm protesters at Lonmin's Marikana mine in 2012. It also found that she committed serious misconduct for suggesting that a media statement be doctored. The Marikana massacre saw 34 miners gunned down by the police. Pierre was suspended for her role in the violence, which claimed 44 lives in total. She is challenging the findings. And finally, the SABC says appointments and staffing issues are an internal matter and are not in the public interest. The Western Cape High Court heard a request for leave to appeal its judgment that the appointment of Hlaudi Motsweneng is invalid and unlawful. Legal counsel for the SABC argued that the case opens floodgates for interference with labour issues, while the DA told the court that the SABC is a public institution that uses public money, and the public has a right to know, to weigh in on the appointment of executives. And just a reminder, if you've missed any of our stories, you can of course find us on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNews Direct, or you can head on over to our website. That's eNCA.com/direct. You've got your business news and your weather details after the short break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. The South African Reserve Bank says it's open to introducing a national digital currency. The bank says the currency will be based on existing examples like blockchain and Bitcoin, which use a digital public ledger platform for distribution. The central bank will carry out its own research about the technology's feasibility in South Africa. Tunisia is said to be the only nation to have successfully issued a digital currency. Let's see how the markets perform today.
Welcome to the Weather Center. Here on our latest satellite picture, we are looking at this band of storm clouds that has been giving us isolated to scattered thunderstorms for much of Thursday in these parts of the country, and the storms are slowly translating towards the southeastern sections. On the other hand, the skies stayed mostly sunny over the western areas. Now, Friday is going to see isolated to scattered afternoon thundershows popping up across much of the northern Cape, extending into the northwestern Free State and pushing down into the eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal. Isolated rain and drizzle can be expected over the easternmost areas of Mpumalanga and Limpopo. It's going to be mostly sunny and hot for much of the Western Cape. So you can expect isolated thundershowers across much of KwaZulu-Natal, where temperatures in the upper 20s are forecast in most places. The weather is going to be pretty unsettled across much of the Eastern Cape, but Port Elizabeth should get away with partly cloudy skies and will warm to 26 degrees. Mostly sunny skies are forecast for the Western Cape. Sizzling hot over the interior. Cape Town and Langaban will warm to around 29 degrees. We are also going to have hot temperatures across the northern Cape, where isolated to scattered thunderstorms are expected in most places. It's going to be pretty unsettled for the Free State, and highs here will reach the mid and upper 20s on Friday afternoon. We stay with thundershowers across the northwest, but Rustenburg will stay dry with a high of around 31 degrees. Dry weather is forecast over much of the Limpopo province, but we could see drizzly conditions around Sanin and Palabora. Drizzle is also forecast for the easternmost parts of Mpumalanga. It's going to be partly cloudy and dry for the high-felt areas. A dry Friday is also forecast for Gauteng, mostly sunny for Pretoria, with a high of 30 degrees. Then on Saturday, we should see thundershows over parts of western South Africa, light rain and drizzle for Cape Town and George. Then on Sunday, the storms translate eastwards. Light rain continues over parts of the south coast.
Thank you, Joel. After the break, Beyonce's baby bump sends the world into a frenzy. There's only one entertainment story dominating social media platforms today.
Yep, and that's news that megastar Beyonce Knowles is expecting twins, and that news has spread like wildfire.
News that set the Bayhive abuzz. R&B phenomenon Beyonce Knowles is expecting not one, but two heirs to the musical throne. Queen Bey took to social media last night to make the big announcement. And her legions of fans responded ecstatically. Her baby announcement post broke the record for most likes on Instagram, a record previously held by pop star Selena Gomez. Knowles also smashed records when she released her latest album, Lemonade. She and rapper Jay-Z are firm fixtures on Hollywood's A-list, but they're never afraid to use their art to send a message. The former Destiny's Child frontlady came under fire last year for her support of the Black Lives Matter campaign and her controversial Black Panther-themed Super Bowl performance. She was also named one of Time magazine's top 5 newsmakers of 2016. It called her a political force. Fans now wait to see whether Blue Ivy Carter will have a pair of brothers or sisters, or one of each.
A reminder of the day's top stories before we say goodbye. Families seek justice over the deaths of psychiatric patients. And that's a wrap from the eNews Direct team.
Yep, until tomorrow, that's a good night from both of us.